Last night we told you how the numbers are played. Three-digit numbers are bet with bookies. The number itself comes from the total New York bond and total New York stock sales. There is no way it can be manipulated. But WIGO radio station in Atlanta is appealing a decision by the FCC to lift its license for allowing so-called numbers preachers on the air. And now WYZE is under investigation. One of the men in charge at WYZE to make certain that three-digit numbers are not given on the air by ministers using code words or even citing chapters and verse from the Bible as a way of dropping the number is Deacon Harrison Smith.
Deacon, do you ever play the numbers?
There hardly isn't a person. Yes, in my lifetime, I'm 70 years old. When they first started back in the early 30s, yes, I played them. Sure, I played them.
Would you buy a number from a preacher?
I would not buy a number now from nobody. Because think of this. You got one chance in 1,000. When God says, if there's anything you need, ask me for it, I own the world. I was foolish, just like anybody else. I was out in the world, so sure I'd reach for it.
Deacon's boss, Leroy Swanger, told me the ministers on his station do not drop numbers and do not entice listeners to their chapels where they will reveal a number for a donation to the church.
We feel like we have a clean bill with ours because we have all of our records and we have everything and we've kept our station clean. And we haven't, we have auditioned a lot of tapes and a lot of programs, and we haven't put just everybody on that came in wanted to buy radio time. So we feel like we have a clean bill on this.
You don't believe you have any numbers preachers operating now on WYZE?
I don't think we have.
Many of the ministers on WYZE are legitimate, and they are concerned about the issue of so-called numbers preachers. But they are more worried about the investigation by the FCC taking away a facility that they need to further their ministry.
We reach numbers of persons around the local community and beyond, and we are grateful for these opportunities. However, we are mindful that there may be people who are not using the radio for the extension of the gospel or the promotion of the gospel, but for some selfish end. I'm not aware as to who they may be, and for that matter, I'm not really concerned about it, only to say that I feel that the station should be used, religiously speaking, for the promotion of the kingdom of God in the world.
It is almost impossible to get a minister not to cite three-digit numbers. How can you tell someone to follow along in their Bibles from, say, Hebrews chapter 12, verse 3, without saying those numbers? And that could mean play 1, 2, 3 to a numbers participant.
It's bad to have to limit it, a preacher, but some of them will speak up and say, I am called of God. I will read what thus saith the Bible. If President Carter say I can't do it, I'll tell him I'm right to read what
your station would lose the license, Deacon, if they do, and if they do it flagrantly.
Now, repeat what you said.
If they do it flagrantly.
Now, you said the station would lose their license if they do it, but you add if they do it flagrantly. Now, what we have to try to ascertain is, are they doing it frequently or are they doing it real?
We've been investigating this matter for several months. This man, who we will call John, has been listening to WYZE, and at our request answered the call of one of the ministers to come to his chapel in a funeral home and visit if he wanted a financial blessing. Our man went there and paid $20 for three-digit numbers, all handed to him in the form of Bible chapter and verses. The minister was very careful to say the money paid to him was for his church, but when our man asked for a one-day, one-way blessing, the minister said, I don't give out the numbers that way. Our informant, John, doesn't have much faith that anybody will be able to do anything about numbers preachers.
I'm hoping that they will put an end to this in Atlanta by prosecuting more and more radio stations and the police following up by getting enough evidence on the number preachers themselves to perhaps put quite a few of them in jail.